The worst thing about coming out was getting rid of all of those life plans that I had made. I decided that I wanted the house and the kids, the little white picket fence, and it seemed like a good plan. It was going to be an awesome life, and the hardest part for me was just kind of stopping and realizing that maybe life wasn't supposed to have a plan. That was part of the fun, was to kind of experience it as it came. And I guess I never really knew the options that I had for myself. And I thought growing up, you had to be one kind of way, and everyone's different. But for me, I always knew what I wanted, and it was difficult to stop and say, well, wait a minute, maybe I'm not going to marry that person. To kind of let go of that and let myself live, I guess, and just learning. Learning was a big process for me, and realizing all the things that were out there. The biggest things that I was afraid of about coming out, family. What are they going to say? I'd grown up in a really supportive family system, and I knew my parents loved me, and that they'd always be there for me no matter what. But I think you always have that fear that, well, what if they don't like me anymore? What if they don't love me? So that was definitely a huge fear. I guess that was really my only one. I wasn't concerned about coming out to my friends. I think most of them knew before I did. But the parents, yeah, I think it's about the parents. There was definitely a process of coming out to myself, and I had a lot of really awesome friends that helped me through the process, because I guess I didn't know it was an option. I didn't know that I struggled a lot of times with, well, do I like boys? Do I like girls? Who am I supposed to like? And I didn't know that you could like both. Um, and it was when I met a new friend, and he was like, well, yeah, I'm bi, and I was like, well, you can do that. um, that I kind of stopped and thought about, well, that would be easy if I didn't have to make the decision, if you just kind of followed your heart, and so they kind of held my hand literally and metaphorically through the process, and I remember texting my friend Jen, and I said, Jen, I think I'm bisexual, and she said, yeah, that would be the case. And so it was reassuring to hear that it wasn't what I was deciding that I had been the whole time wasn't some crazy thing, that other people had heard of it too, and that you could be that way. I think the hardest part for me, it was hard because I feel like my coming out process was different. In a way, it was more of a figuring out process, and so once I kind of knew what I was, who I was, I came out to a couple of my friends, and then a week later I came out to my mom, and it was about halfway through college, and I remember sitting in the car with my mom, and she's driving, and she stops and she just looks at me and she says, I don't know where you've been for the last 4 years, but it's good to have you back. And that was a huge moment for me, because it was very validating that she knew I had struggled a lot, and she didn't necessarily know how to help, and she knew I was scared. But she told me that it was going to be okay. And then another week went by, and I was in the car with my dad, and I came out to him, and he said, I remember sitting down at the table with you junior year of high school, and having a conversation about life. And this was one of the things that we talked about. And he said that there are places in this world that this is probably going to be a problem, but your home is never going to be one of them. And that was also an incredibly validating experience, because you have all this fear that you're going to somehow be rejected by these people who have known you your entire life, and that you're going to come out and they're not going to love you anymore. And to hear that that wasn't the case, that if anything, you feel closer to them, and you feel less pressure, and you can just be yourself. And there's nothing that can accurately explain the weight that comes off your shoulders once you feel that, and it's amazing. There are definitely people who didn't have the most positive reactions. That's a good question. I don't want to. I'm trying to think. I guess, the people that have all these negative things to say about you, it's not very impactful once you go through the process of coming out. Once you've come out, it kind of disarms them. And so when they say something negative, it's not about, well, no, that's not me, I don't do that, and being really self-conscious. It's just about, yeah, this is who I am. And if you don't want to respect me, then that's no skin off my back. That's something you have to carry on. I let go of that a long time ago, and I don't know, just it hurts a lot less after you come out, for sure. This definitely more. I'm definitely more confident now than I was. I mean, people say you don't come out once, you come out every day, and that's true. And you come out every time you see someone new or someone you've seen 100 times, and it becomes less of a process of, you just sit them down and tell them, and more you can just be yourself and they understand. It's definitely easier after coming out. It's a lot less stressful. You're not always worried about what everyone else thinks. Or what they're going to say. You get to just relax for once and be yourself and enjoy being yourself, and that's pretty cool. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to enjoy who you are, and people either accept you or they move on. And you figure out that the people who do accept you, who love you for who you are still there, and people that matter. The people who don't, you never have to see them again, and that's pretty awesome. I think the biggest thing that most people don't necessarily understand is why they feel the way that they feel. And there are a lot of people who will be quick to say things because they just don't think. And once you kind of get out of the college bubble or whatever bubble you're in, you definitely have to interact with that a lot more. And so I guess the best way that I've learned how to deal with that is just to stop and say, well, why? Why do you feel that way? And sometimes that's all it takes for someone to say, well, I guess I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Or, that's a really good point. Maybe I didn't consider it from that perspective. And why is probably the most powerful weapon that you have to combat negative feelings towards you. Find people that matter to you, hold on to them, and don't be afraid. I wish I came out earlier. I wish I figured it out earlier. Don't waste the time you have now trying to pretend to be someone that you're not. Be who you are, and find the people in your life who are going to be there no matter what. Because there are people, they'll be there. They'll always be there for you, and that's it. Just be yourself.